Hello and good morning. Welcome to a rapid fire Q&A because of all the events happening today, as well as a lot of events that I'm doing for live training for various podcasting reasons. We're going to go rapid fire Q&A today, which is going to be really fun. We're going to try to answer as many questions as we can. Sorry for the couple minutes late start. Funny, quick little story. Woke up in the morning, look outside of my backyard. There is trash strewn all about. A sea of trash in my backyard. I have no idea what's going on. And then I feel it, the huge gust of wind. Apparently, the trash can on the side of the house got blown over. It's been really windy here in San Diego. And then boom, all the stuff like flying over the backyard. So I spent the last 30 minutes cleaning the backyard. Haven't even taken my first sip of coffee yet. Sometimes that happens, you know, and you might consider, okay, well, hey, you know what? This is going to be a bad day. It's going to be one of those days. And you know what? No, it's not. I'm just saying right now, that has nothing to do with everything that's about to happen. So, hey, we're going to cut that off now. We're going to start the string of good things that are about to happen, and it starts with you and our Q&A today. So thank you again for coming in. I appreciate you. A little early start today because I want to make sure we finish up by some certain events that are happening this morning. And let's get this party started. Here we go.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of nice compliments already. We got, this boy says, Pat, you look fresh. Thank you. I'm about to get more fresh. All right, looks like the audio was a little weird there. I apologize about that. We got a super chat from Hey Archer. Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. I hope that was the worst part of the day. Hashtag Team Flynn. Indeed. Thank you.
Bruh.
Appreciate you, my friend. Who else said it? Rocking the MKBHD zipped hoodie. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to pop this up on the screen. Not like that. Like that. And this will give us an indication of how many questions we've answered. And just let me get a sense of where we are here. Okay, we're good to go. So, rapid fire. I'm going to answer questions for you as quickly as possible. Thank you, Hey Archer. I appreciate you. Yep, weird day after this call in home. Put cat to sleep. So sorry, Bill. We are here for you. We know that you've been going through that the last couple days. So anything we can do for you, please let us know. Question number 1. What's your progress for writing a blog post? So process for writing a blog post. So the process for writing a blog post for me, number 1, think about the transformation first. Before I start writing anything, I want to think about what's the purpose of this particular blog post, and then reverse engineer the steps, the stories, the case studies, the examples, the quotes that I might need to use. I kind of brainstorm all that and pile it together, and then I look at all of it. Typically, it's Post-it notes, to be honest, and then I rearrange things into the right order. I scrap things that don't matter. I fill in any gaps that I might see, and then I start from the top, and I go, okay, how can I hook people into this blog post now that I know what's going to be spoken about and then where it's going to go? I title it, try to connect the title, because that's important, to the first paragraph, the hook, and then we're off to the races, and then that's how it works. Today, Pat looks fresh, even at 7:30 a.m. Maybe it's just because I put my head under the sink and just whoosh, slicked it back like that. Whoa there, you caught me mid-podcast recording session. So sorry, Martin. So sorry. I've had income stream jingle in my head for 3 days, says Reflexio. I apologize about that. Question, how much coffee per day do you personally drink? 2 cups of coffee. 2 cups of coffee with a 2:30 p.m. cutoff. This is something that Sean Stevenson talks about in his book, Sleep Smarter, having a coffee curfew, because the half-life of coffee is 8 hours. And so by the time I'm ready to go to bed at around 10:30 to 11, most of it's gone and I can fall asleep quite quickly. If I have any coffee after that, I have some trouble sleeping, and that's not good. It affects the rest of my day, affects my mood, affects my stress, affects my creativity. So yeah, 2 per day. 2 per day. 1 in the morning and 1 right after lunch. Xenia Vlada says, what do you think about building an online business with newsletters like Substack? I see a huge boom in this area at the moment. Yeah, I actually did a video where that was one of the 5 things that I think is going to be very big in 2021 as far as business ideas. And I am going to be creating something a little bit more deeper about that. If you do have ConvertKit by chance, you also have the ability to charge to have people read your newsletter. Now, you might be thinking, wow, you can actually like have people pay you to be a part of a newsletter. Don't you usually want to like almost pay them because people hate newsletters? Well, if the content is great, if they know what they can expect, it's worth signing up in many cases. For example, I would completely sign up to a Pokemon card market related newsletter. And what I mean is if there was a person out there, and there is, I tried to get on his Patreon, but it was full. But if he had a newsletter, I would pay him, however much money a month to get access to this information that I couldn't get anywhere else because he has this expertise, he has the knowledge, the experience, he has the connections. And so, yeah, definitely agree with you, Zenny and Vlad. I think that's going to be big. So long as you know who it is that you're speaking to in those newsletters and exactly the kind of information they want. There's not really any, I wouldn't say wiggle room for just like kind of banter, but I mean, in many cases there is, but I think people who want to follow personalities, follow them elsewhere. People who want information directly into their inbox, latest, greatest, whatever it is, that's going to work really, really well. Question, is it standard to keep the intro video to about a minute? The intro video for your YouTube channel? Oh, that's right. It's not necessarily standard. I think that within the 1 to 2 minute range would suffice for sure. That way you can tell everybody what this is about, what they can look forward to. You can show examples of those things. You can inspire people, even offer a small quick win if you wanted to. But most of all, they just want to know who they're learning from. And hopefully you can mention your name and all the fun things that we learned about you in our website review over the weekend. All right, if you have a question, put the word question in the Q&A box, followed by the question. Let me write questions here so people know what this is. There we go. Questions. That was weird to write like that. All right. Question from Nilufar. I feel confused when I want to design my website structure. Do you have any suggestions? I have design portfolio, blogs, tutorials. Yeah, it can be very confusing. What I would do to start out with would be to find other websites that have the similar feel to the kind of thing you want. Obviously, that's just for inspiration and motivation, but to give you even just a little bit of concrete structure, why do you like it that way? And pulling that why and putting it into your own website is really important. It's very difficult to build a website from scratch, right? If you find other people and see other things, this is what we always do when we redesign our website. Let's pick from certain companies and people and then incorporate it into our own in some way, shape, or form. But here's what we want to do differently, and here's the main purpose. I think the most important thing when it comes to website is, can you also not just portray what it is that you want to portray and have the words that you want showed where you want it, but can you actually help people find their way through the website? Are all the things that they might need access to or might want access to right away where they need to be so people can easily find their way around there? Felipe says, how do you set up a podcast in a country like Switzerland where we have 4 different languages and you want to have a worldwide audience? Should I have 2 podcasts, French and English? Well, typically I would recommend if you have a language in a different country that you would want to do a podcast for, then go ahead and do that. I think that it might be a result of the title as well as the description. You could have 2 podcasts, but I would just start with one. Perhaps pick the main one that you want to focus on, the main dialect, the main language, and just go from there. And if you do happen to find that you want to try another one, you can do that. But you might find that one is enough, and you can go there. Even though there is perhaps other audiences that wouldn't be somebody who could listen because it's a different language, you got to be okay with that for now, right? The riches are in the niches, and that might include languages that people can understand. So I would start with one and then perhaps go from there. Stephanie says, is that 2:30 cutoff thing apply to all caffeine? I don't drink coffee, only one Diet Dr. Pepper first thing in the morning, but just curious. It was mentioned in his book for just coffee, but I can imagine it because it is sort of a caffeine cutoff, not just a coffee cutoff. Try it, Stephanie. You might find that you might get better results with your sleep, your energy levels, if you have that curfew because of the half-life of caffeine. So that's perhaps what it is, but I know that coffee is very, very strong when it comes to caffeine. I don't know the caffeine count in terms of milligrams for soda. Oh my God. Excuse me. Woo, okay. Question. If you had to recommend one subscription service to help someone grow their YouTube channel, what would it be? Adobe, Storyblocks, etc. It's a good question. So Storyblocks is great because you can download video, B-roll, that you can use in an unlimited fashion across your channel, which allows for a lot more pattern interrupts, a lot more movement, a lot more professionalism when it comes to your B-roll and then your voiceover and things like that. It can add a lot of flavor. I'm a big fan of artlist.io because I like to add music in a lot of my videos, and I can get a free, not free, but a annual fee to pay for unlimited use of really, really good music that not everybody else is going to use. So artlist.io if you're more into the music stuff and you already have enough video and your own B-roll. TubeBuddy would be fantastic. TubeBuddy and or vidIQ as far as a subscription service, because then you get all this data and all these amazing things related to the growth of your channel, the split testing that you can do with thumbnails on YouTube or TubeBuddy, the analytics, the search engine optimization, keyword research, those kinds of things. Just to be clear, I just want to make sure. There we go. All right. As a small channel, what do you think about giveaways for channel growth? You got to be careful with giveaways. I do think it can be used in a very smart way where you can get people excited and reward those who are subscribed, who can then bring new followers like them in. But you got to be careful about giveaways because sometimes people will just subscribe and follow for the actual giveaway part, and then they're not going to be engaged at all. So I would say most importantly, if you can make the giveaway relevant to the audience and what they might want or what they're interested in, that's going to work out really, really well, because you know that anybody who would subscribe to you for that reason to get that thing would be somebody who would be interested in everything else that you might have to offer on the channel, versus what a lot of people do is they go, I'm going to give away this iPad. Okay. And then all of a sudden the bots and the word spread around, and then all these people are flooding over, and yes, you're getting a massive channel growth, but then you're wondering why when you have 100,000 subscribers, you only get like 50 views on a video. Well, it's because people aren't there to watch your videos, or they're not interested in the subject matter. They're interested in more iPads, right? So you just got to be careful with that. But for a small channel, I think anything you can do to reward your current viewers is great. This is something that I'm thinking about now that we've hit over 1.3K subscribers on my Pokemon channel now. New video should be coming out today, by the way, over on Deep Pocket Monster. And I'm already thinking about a way to offer just some sort of reward and thank you to those who have followed and have subscribed. And then hopefully that encourages more people to find me too. Great question. Tina says, how do you stay so organized? You seem to have so much going on in a good way. That's so funny because I don't often feel super organized. Like this morning with the trash that was flying around the backyard because it was windy and my trash can fell over. I just definitely felt a little disheveled. But I am not organized in all parts of my life. I'm organized in the most important parts of my life that matter the most. With my family, with my calendar, with as far as work, with my team. A lot of my organization comes from other people as well, because I know in my life that I am great at some things and not so great at other things. And I think it's really important to understand what those things are for you. And when you understand that, you can either try to get better at the things that you know you're not great at, or get some support or help, or get some software or something to help support you so that you can focus more of your energy on the things that you know you're good at and that you enjoy that spark joy for you. So that's kind of what it is. Like, I'm just going to be honest, I'm not always super organized. And if I were to zoom out in this camera, you would see that there is a lot of mess here. But of course, you're seeing this window in this office, and that's it. So it's kind of interesting, but I do appreciate the kind words, but I'm not always organized. But when I have a goal, I know that the more organized I can be, the more likely it is I am to at least stay on the right path. It doesn't mean I'm going to follow the plan exactly, because not everything goes according to plan. But if I'm organized and I have a clear goal, then I also know that if I get off track, I can get back on because I know what direction I'm heading. Cooking with Kibby says, thank you for these questions, by the way. We're going rapid fire today. I'm building a Cooking is Connecting 20-day challenge, but don't know where I should direct people to. Thinkific, MailChimp landing page, Squarespace landing page, a custom domain. So here's what I would do for a challenge, and you can borrow this out of our playbook. We did a email marketing challenge. You can actually see it in action at 100emails.com. Now, we're not running this quote unquote live right now with like a cohort of people, which we do every so often, where we make a huge deal about it. We even offer some prizes, or we have a Facebook group to go along with it during those live challenges. But right now it's more evergreen, but you can get a sense of the system and how it works. So if you go to 100emails.com, it just takes you to a web page that is a landing page. And that landing page then allows you to subscribe to the challenge, at which point you will get an email, which is the day 1 of the challenge. The next day you get an email, day 2. The day after that you get day 3. It's all done via email, but it starts with the landing page so I can sell the challenge essentially. It's not a paid thing, but it's a free thing. But I still have to sell the time that it's going to take. 3 days, 72 hours, you're going to have from 0 emails, you're going to get to 100, and it's very clear, right? So Kibby, I would recommend that you create a landing page somewhere. And best scenario is a landing page that has nothing else other than information about that particular challenge. It could be a page on your existing website where you do have a menu and some other things, sidebar is still there. And that's kind of okay. But a perfect landing page is one that has no other call to action other than go do this thing or leave. And that way it's just all focused, right? That's why it's called a squeeze page, because we're squeezing people right down into that email opt-in form so they can join. And then as far as the challenge, it's really up to you how you want it to be done. You can send people to Thinkific if you want it to feel a little bit more high value. There's videos in there and it's all kind of put in there. But for me with the email challenge, there was no reason to overcomplicate it. I was just like, okay, here's the information. I'm going to just give it to them in the email that they already subscribe to. It's going to train them to sort of open emails every day and go from there. Question from Anything Cameras. You are walking down the street when you find a valuable pack of Pokemon cards on the ground. What do? I look around. I pick it up. I put it in the air. I might say, is this anybody's? No? Because I'm gonna go. It depends where it is, right? If there happens to be, if it's like in the neighborhood here, and I know some of the kids here play Pokemon as well, I might knock on some doors and ask around. But, you know, I might take it with me and then maybe post something in the neighborhood newsletter and just say, hey, you know, there was a lost. I mean, I always try to find the owner first. That always comes back in some way, shape, or form. But honestly, if you know, I've tried my best. I don't want the cards sitting there and losing value. I'm gonna take them, right? But I'll do my best to see if I can find somebody else who owns them first. And if you know somebody says it and I can sort of prove that it's theirs. Okay, so what set is it? Who's on the cover? You know, just that kind of thing. I remember I was in Vegas once for a conference and I was walking around the casino floor. And all of a sudden, I'm just like randomly looking at machines, and I just have this feeling. And I look at a machine, there's 100 credits in there. And it's a $1 machine. There's $100 in this machine, and nobody's there. Nobody's sitting there. Nobody's around. I stand next to the slot machine. I'm looking around. I literally wait there for 20 minutes because I just want to see. And I'm standing there. 20 minutes go by. Okay, boom, get the voucher. Cash out, $100. Awesome. You got to make sure to redeem that thing before you leave. Okay, Sean says, if you were starting a coaching business from scratch today, what would you focus on in addition to podcasting? In terms of like what would I coach about? I mean, I do have a coaching program today. I took a number of my accelerator students from my group coaching the last couple of years, and I'm now coaching them one-on-one. We have a 30-minute call every week, and it's basically like, hey, I'm here as a resource. You got to come prepared with questions, and if you don't have any questions, then we're going to skip it, but you don't get to make it up. And it's once a week, and that's been working out really, really well. So it's basically coaching to help guide people on what next steps might be, to be there as a sounding board for different things that they might be working on. So I actually do that. So it's really more custom to those particular people. However, if I had a choice, if I can make a specific niche, I think that I would coach people about online courses. Honestly, the work that we've done over the last 3 years, which has earned us over $4 million in online courses. I mean, it's proven. We have a system in place. We've developed courses recently that have only taken about a couple weeks to put together. We know how to beta launch a course. I would help people who have information, who don't know how to display it and get paid for it, help them turn that into dollars. And with my affiliation with Teachable and my advisorship to them, I think that would be a good deal. I think that would be really good. Oh, I'm at the bless yous. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer a couple more questions from up here, and then I'm going to scroll down. If I happen to miss your question, you're more than welcome to ask it again. Again, I can't get to everybody's question, and we're going rapid fire here. But we got Gabriella. How do you get your ads and your episodes to be all updated regardless of how old the new episode is? Great question. So that's called dynamic ad insertion. What's the best placement for ads, the beginning, mid, or end of that episode? So Buzzsprout just came out with this, by the way. But we are using a different platform in order to do this. And what this allows us to do is even for older episodes, we can insert an updated ad without having to actually re-upload the episode. We can mark within the episode that at this point, or at this point, or at the end, or at the very beginning before it plays, play this separate audio file that we just uploaded, and it dynamically inserts that so that when a person calls that file, it'll insert that at the right moment for us, which is super neat and oftentimes very expensive. Now it's getting cheaper, and Buzzsprout just announced that they are adding, if not already have added, dynamic ad insertion, but just for pre-roll and post-roll. That means before the show and after the show. But that's really neat because you can either sell those spots from your earlier episodes to sponsors, or imagine this, you have an event coming up next week. Anybody who listens to any of your episodes, even those who go back to episode 1, they'll be able to hear that ad, and then you can turn it off and turn on another thing. Best placements for ads as far as the most money that you're going to make, as well as what is attractive to most sponsors and advertisers, is going to be pre-roll, which is right before the show starts, and then also mid-roll, mid podcast, because that's when people are most engaged, right? The Writing Community Chat Show says, "Hi, Pat. We are a live streaming podcast show running twice weekly. We have good, consistent live interaction from around 20 people, but the live growth is slow. Should I be worried about this?" No, it's pretty typical to have growth for live shows be a little bit slower. If you are doing this on a platform like Twitch and or YouTube, just going live is not going to help you grow that much. Unless it is a huge event that is sort of worldwide and people are looking to go to you for a very unique thing that's happening in the world right now, live streams don't typically help you grow, but you can have your pre-recorded videos, if you have any, help let people know when it is that your live streams are going. People even on Twitch use YouTube to grow their Twitch lives because they use the YouTube pre-recorded videos and the algorithms that can happen, the search engine optimization, the idea that YouTube's going to serve impressions all over the world for you to see how it's going. And if you have a good hook and if it's very relevant, then it might serve those people who then subscribe and also others who are like them later. So that's how I would grow. Just going live, and I'll tell you just from my own experience, going 311 days straight here. 311, also one of my favorite bands, by the way. Amber is a really good song. We have not seen a lot of growth here either. And I actually have a consultant now that I'm working with for YouTube growth because we're trying to double the channel size this year. His first question was, okay, so your goal is to double the size of the channel. How much longer are you going to go live for? And I was like, whoa, okay, well, I'm still going to go live until 365, but I am going to be starting to ramp up pre-recorded videos so we can take advantage of algorithms, browse, home, all those places that we can get new people. All right, scrolling down, got a lot of questions coming in. I want to see a lot of the answers to things that I have said. Is it Vegas or Vegas? I think it's Vegas, the first one. Vegas? Vegas? I've never thought of that. Something to ponder. I don't know. Out and about. What do you recommend for a quick and efficient and cost-effective DCMA solution for a website? Do you recommend a company to do it yourself? Have a few recommendations. I would find somebody who can just help you nail that right away because it can be kind of cumbersome at times. There might be some other places or other websites where you can get some information for the legalese, the sort of terms and conditions, DMCA, and all that kind of stuff. There are people also on Upwork.com that you can hire for a relatively cheap price to help create that specifically for you. And there's also templates out there that you can get as well. So I think a cost-effective, but one that would make the most sense would be something like Upwork, where you can just pay somebody to do it for you, and they have that expertise, and it's just specifically tailored to your brand. Question, what's one non-negotiable you do every day? So I have a few. Number one, have to have coffee. Number two, I have to have time with my family. If there's a day that goes by that I don't have time with my family, I definitely feel like it's a waste. This is why I'm not necessarily traveling as much anymore. Obviously, there's many reasons why we're not traveling these days, but even if we can go back and travel again, it's going to be very rare that I do go out there and leave my family behind. If anything, they might come with me, right? Another non-negotiable is you got to eat something healthy, right? If I have 3 terrible meals, that's not good. So I got to eat something where I feel like, okay, well, at least I've given myself some sort of good fuel for the day. That's a great question, Tina. I'd love to know what is one for you or for anybody else. What's one non-negotiable that you have in your life? Kyle says, how long were you an entrepreneur before you started helping other people and talking about it? A year and a half. And this is a really great question, Kyle, because a lot of people try to help others become entrepreneurs before they themselves are entrepreneurs. It's almost like well, I'm going to be an entrepreneur by telling people about entrepreneurship. And it's kind of like it's a very hard uphill battle. I had a business and I still have it, in fact, at greenexamacademy.com. That was my first online business, helping people pass an architectural exam. That made over $200,000. And within the first few months of that, earning 5 figures, I definitely was ready to start sharing everything. Now, I didn't feel qualified to teach. I just wanted to share as I went along. And I still made a lot of mistakes. I still was sort of working hard and figuring things out. But now, 12 years later, things are working out pretty well. And I'm very grateful that I had that case study of my own before I started teaching. That's something that definitely helped me stood out, because there were a lot of people teaching about entrepreneurship, but they were always regurgitating the same kinds of things. I think it's really important to have your own personal experience in some way, shape, or form before you teach others. And even if you're not fully qualified, you feel, if you're not the number one expert, at least do something that gives you some information that you can then push forward and share, versus just like taking something that somebody else created and then putting it forward. Question says, why not ballpoint pen instead of your felt pens? You could use Post-it notes, easy peasy. Yeah, I mean, I could, but then I'd have to every single day recycle all of them. And I like the idea of the whiteboard, and I think that it just makes a little bit more of a classroom feel. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Adam says, what tips can you give for anyone trying to get their first clients? Great. Instead of trying to get your first clients, I would just think about getting your first client. Just think about that one and focus on where they might exist, the language that they might be responding to, what their biggest pains, problems are, and being very, very, very clear about what you have that they don't, that they would want to get access to, right? So getting very clear with, and I'm trying to remember where this happened. I think it was a recent, in February. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is for anybody who's interested in freelancing, getting clients or anything like that. Maybe you're just starting out. Let me know if this would be interesting to you. But I interviewed Jay Klaus, who is now on Team SPI, in fact. But he has a thing called Freelancing School. And I interviewed him to talk about all the things that you might need to just start your freelancing career. And he nails this question. So I look forward to sharing this with you mid-February. That's about a month from now. You'll hear Jay Klaus on the Smart Passive Income podcast. Probably the most informative episode that I've ever heard anywhere. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the host. But Jay showed up and delivered. And he will tell you how to get your first client, how to work with them, what that relationship is like. And really, just to kind of summarize it, it's about really finding somebody and offering them something that they need. And maybe it's doing it for free first, or maybe it's doing it for payment. It doesn't matter. If you can nail what it is that you have to offer that can help somebody save time and money, yes, they're paying you to save time and money. That's when it becomes very clear to them that they should hire you, right? Great question. Would amber be more red or orange? I think it's more orange, in my opinion. That's a funny question. Zenian Vlada says, who's your consultant for YouTube growth? So there is a company called AMA. His name is Jihad, Jihad. He and his team have graduated from MIT. They are very analytics focused. I'll share more about them later because obviously I don't know how well it's going to go yet. But so far, I'm really, really liking the kinds of conversations we're having. Case in point, yesterday we had a conversation. Caleb was on the call too. And they were like, hey, Pat, of all the videos that you've created in the last year, here is our thumbnail analysis. Thumbnails where your face are here have a higher click-through rate. Thumbnails that have a brighter background have a higher click-through rate. Ones that have a darker background do not. When it's text only, it seems to not perform as well. And then it's just like, whoa, here's how your audience responds to what. That analytical is what I'm looking for, so that in the future, I don't have to guess. I can just do what works, right? And so we're getting to that level now, and I'm very, very excited. And the fact that we spoke about a whole hour's worth of thumbnail related stuff yesterday, hopefully shows you how important thumbnail is. Thumbnails are very important, okay? So you have to nail the thumbnails. And of course, you're not going to nail it right away, but the more that you are consciously thinking about it, plus the title, the more likely you are to succeed. Cool? Cool. How often do you update your past video descriptions to improve SEO and cross-links between your websites, blogs, and videos? Fantastic question. When you create content, it's like a first draft, right? And how often do we read the first drafts of books when we buy them at the store? Never. There's always many, many more drafts after that. However, online with content creation, we don't think about it that way, but we need to think about our own brand, our own content platforms as sort of like books. So we can go back in time and edit things and remove things that aren't necessary anymore, or, connect more things together now that they exist. So this is a fantastic question Dyburn. And what I do is once a quarter, I go in. I mean, you could do this every day, but I think that would be a little bit overkill. I do it once a quarter, and I go in and I just see, okay, well, what older videos can I link to with newer ones? Now, there are some times where it's very clear to me that I am creating an updated version of a video, for example, in which case I would go back and update the older versions and point to the new ones in the end cards, and even point to the old ones in the new video and kind of do things like that. New website, blogs, anything that might exist, podcast episodes, I try to insert it into the descriptions as well. Once a quarter, and I do often change titles and thumbnails once a quarter as well if videos seem to be underperforming. And I've seen it, man. I have seen it where, boom, just like that, I noticed that a thumbnail change and or a title change completely skyrockets a video, and that's really, really exciting. But again, just case in point, the thumbnail and title are really, really important. By the way, why is it called thumbnail? Is it because it's like the size of your thumb? Is it because you want to nail it? Was that pithy enough for you? I don't know. Let me keep going. Sir, how can I learn full affiliate marketing course from beginner to advance? The best way to learn is to do, right? So you're going to learn so much by just trying and doing. Now, obviously, you might want to get training and such. I would recommend checking out 123affiliatemarketing.com if you want to check that out, or find a lot of my affiliate marketing related videos here on YouTube. That'll take you a long way. I've gone very deep with a lot of that stuff. Most important principle when it comes to affiliate marketing: know what your audience wants to learn more about or needs help with. What would make their life more convenient? Be the person who can demonstrate that thing is actually useful. And so that means, either creating articles and or YouTube videos to demonstrate these things, to show how easy it is to use, but more importantly, how this benefits their life. And when you can do that and you show proof, that is often the winning formula. Only non-negotiable for me is coffee, says Karma. Amen. Grandma Goody, thank you. Question, Reflexio. With all the variables of entrepreneurship, how would you define failure? Failure to me, this is very easy. Failure to me is just giving up. That's it. A terrible launch is not a failure because all the lessons that can be learned there are incredible. A sales call gone bad, that's not a failure because you can re-listen to it and understand what you could do better next time. Pivoting 100 times, not failure because you're actually at least starting to try to find your way. But if it is a pivoting practice because you're scared, that's also a version of failure too. Not fully believing that what it is that you're trying to do is possible. Thus, you are in fact giving up on something by reactively pivoting to something else versus proactively pivoting to something else, if that makes sense. Kyle says, thanks, that helps a lot. You're welcome. Black coffee, absolutely. How do you use your 300 plus lives? Oh, I was like thinking of how cats have 9 lives, and do I have 300 lives? That'd be awesome. But how do I use those? So they are there in the archive within my videos folder to potentially capture new people who are interested in the same topic. Again, needing to make sure that the thumbnail and title is something that's relevant to them. These Q&A ones are great for live, but these are not so great for people watching later because they have no idea what we're going to be talking about, and it's not necessarily worth their time. It's a risk, right? Versus a live stream about how to land big guests on your podcast. You know exactly what you're going to get whether you watch live or not. And if I can deliver on that and, of course, create a great hook in the beginning, I can capture people even later. So they are useful for me later. I can also repurpose a lot of this stuff. I'm not doing that much because I just don't have the time to do it, and I got to make that decision executively to not do that. But I'm going to, potentially repurpose some of this stuff. And I have done that already, actually, with a few videos that have then turned into other videos that have actually done very, very well. Actually, where are we at with the video? Let's go to my studio here. I want to see where we're at with that video that we did repurpose that I want to try to get to 100,000 views. And it's actually called my next 100,000 view video. So let's see. Oh, wait, uploads. So that video is here, 2021 business ideas, 88,119 or 99. So we're 11,800 away from our 100,000 view goal. And again, that was something repurposed from the from all the things going on here, which is really cool. Also, let me see. I apologize. I'm not able to see the super chats if there are any more coming in. Actually, no, I can see them come in when they do come in. I can't see the new members, which is unfortunate. I just don't have that window open right now. So if there are new members, I appreciate you. Let me see. Who are the last members to come in? We got see all. Hold up. Kyle, thank you for joining Platinum. Elizabeth Gibson, thank you for joining Gold. Appreciate you. Cool. Who else is there? Yeah, okay, cool. Kyle, Elizabeth, thank you. Great. Okay, sorry, I'm just scrambling over here. All right. Earthquake. Oh, when I was shaking the camera. All right, scrolling down, looking for questions. All right, Kaushik. I'm planning to start a blog around earning money online and YouTube and podcasts around it, starting from blogging to others like freelancing and more. Is there a follow-up question? I mean, that sounds like a good idea, but again, if you want to earn money online, how are you earning money? If you want to teach earning money online, how are you actually able to prove that you know what it is that you're talking about, right? And how is it going to be more than just kind of regurgitating what other people have said? Again, the best thing that's worked for me is doing it on my own first and then having so much to share about from my own personal experience, and therefore it is automatically different than everything else. Now, that's not to say that you can't make this work right now, but you'd have to definitely frame it in a way where you're not trying to pretend like you know and that you have all these business ideas and that you've executed on them without having actually done so. You could take people along the ride with you. You can basically say, hey, I'm going to be doing this. You can come join me, and then become the best person who can relay information that you're finding in real time to them, if that makes sense. All right. Question, if you approached a company asking them to sponsor you, and they wanted to have a call with you to work out the details, how would you prepare for the call? What would you ask? Yo, B. Roy, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you. It's always good to see you here. Also, thank you for your service, by the way, and I'm looking forward to, I know I said I was going to pick up that email yesterday, but I got caught up in the middle of something, so I will answer that email for you later today, most likely. But thank you. So if I approached a company asking them to sponsor me, and then they want to call, so I would be prepared with specific numbers, specific demographic information about my audience. I would also come prepared with a pitch that would convince them that this is a great podcast for them. I would have also some numbers prepared if I had happened to work with sponsors and advertising before to show how well the campaigns have worked too. And then I would also come in with perhaps some recommendations from other companies that they might know about and things like that. So actually, if I were to go like this, can you see that? Wow, that's a deep, dark cup of coffee right there. Bill, thank you for the super chat. So that's what I would come prepared with. I would also see how I might come prepared with information about how much I knew about that company and how I could help them and how it would just be a good fit. Pat, did you say the secret word? I cannot remember hearing it. I did say the secret word. Samain, thank you, Pat. You're welcome. Felipe said, is there any website or software where to create your account or podcast artwork, or is it better to hire someone else to do it for you? So yeah, you can create it on something like canva.com. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Bill, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. There is a software called canva.com, which is super easy to use, and you can do it a 3,000 by 3,000 pixel piece of artwork, and make sure that it is seen at also a very small size. If you could shrink it down to 55 by 55, yes, it's so small, but that's because people are watching and listening on their phone. So yes, big is great. It allows you to have your artwork be seen on all the iPads, all the Apple TVs, all the things, but most people are finding you on your devices, so you got to make sure that you can design for that as well. So anything that's shrunken down, if it's still there, that's great. A lot of stuff will go away, but that's okay. But as long as the things that you want to still be there are there, there you go. Now, you can hire people on Fiverr.com for a very cheap price. Again, Fiverr, it's kind of hit or miss, Fiverr.com, 2 R's. And I've had some people successfully create some stuff from there too, just because they don't want to deal with it and worry about it. But that can work as well. Bean Counting says, is it easier to stream or create an edited video in terms of being in front of the camera? I would say that it's way easier to create an edited video. I mean, there are pros and cons, right? When I hit broadcast here, I'm live and there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, obviously I could go away, and exit and end this thing, but you're live and it's raw and you have a little bit more leeway for a little bit of mistakes and some just random pauses. It's a part of just natural conversation that we're having here, right? So there's less expectation for it to be fully produced, and that's a benefit of going live. However, it's live, so you might not know what to say, and it takes practice, and you might sort of stumble, and you might not enjoy that, and that's kind of that's again okay. You're trying it. That's not failure. You just keep moving forward. Pre-recorded videos are great because obviously you can edit them, but there is you have to do it, right? There's always reasons to not do it. And I think that it is those who persevere, who have grit, who do it anyway, who improve over time. Those are the ones who are going to succeed. MKBHD here on YouTube, 13, 14 million subscribers now. He started his YouTube channel back when he was a kid, and his first 100 videos were for 72 subscribers. So just keep that in mind. He's gotten practice, has gotten more confident, and it's obviously doing so well now. Dr. Severin Bryan, Pat, how long does it take you to create a thumbnail? It took me over 3 hours to redo and upload and test my banner on my phone and computer after YouTube review, #perfectionist. It can take 3 hours, and the fact that you're spending so much time on your thumbnail is a great sign, actually. Now, I'm not saying you need to spend 3 hours every time, and of course, it's hopefully going to get faster and faster once you develop a style and get a language going with relation to that. But now, I say that I think I sometimes spend an hour on a thumbnail if it's a pre-recorded video and I want to really nail it. Now I also have a team that can help me too on some cases, but still it's oftentimes me. Now for the thumbnails that you see here on the live, I don't spend as much time on them, which is kind of a shame, but I just got to give that up because I have a lot of other things to do. But on my pre-recorded videos, I am going to be spending more time on the thumbnails. So thank you for sharing just openly how you're going with that. And perhaps over time it'll get faster just because you're going to learn how to use the systems a little bit better, whatever it is you're using to edit that thing. But it's worth it, right? Imagine spending 3 hours on a video so that over the course of the next 2 years, people are more likely to click on it and find it, and it gets spread out more. So, yeah, it may seem like a lot for something so small in a video, one single frame, one picture that people only see once. But unless people click, the rest of the video would have been for nothing. Bill says, why not use your loyal fans to help get to 500K? You are a master of business on YouTube, worth every second. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. And, I know that it's going to happen automatically, and organically, I mean, not automatically for sure, but it's going to be organic the more I push into a lot of the thumbnails, the titles, the specific videos. And I'm already getting help. I don't know what else I can ask, right, to get the sort of exponential growth that I'm looking for. And the more that I can lean into what the content is and how I can better serve you, the more I know it's going to come back. Again, if I nail the title and thumbnail, that seems to be a theme here today, but that's really important, right? And with the help that I'm getting from this agency to help me grow my channel, and we're getting into the deep details of analytics here on YouTube, which is very much what it's about. I do expect there to be some really good growth with these videos that are coming, which is going to be pretty cool. But again, any help that you can provide would be fantastic. If you wanted to share this out, awesome. I appreciate that so much. But there's a lot of people who don't even know I exist, who I know I can get in front of if I treat the YouTube channel correctly. Zenian Vada says, question, what is your next idea for next income stream in the online business area? Thank you. It's actually happening right now. By the way, if you want to check out the replays of the webinar that happened today, or the webinar that happened yesterday about podcasting, you can find it at smartpassiveincome.com/webinar. No, I don't know if that's actually true. Let me put the link in. I have a link available for the replay if you want to check that out. So we got this, and here's the replay page if you want to check it out. I'm just going to put it into the comments section right here. And that'll direct you to the replay if you want to watch that. The reason why I'm sharing this right now is because there is a new income stream that has been added related to this. So when people purchase this course, they are brought to a thank you page where we are offering, just to see and to test. We've already validated this. People have already taken this up on this offer. If they want to go through a boot camp version of this, meaning starting in February, they got access to the course and they're going to go through this with a number of people live, meaning we're going to get on calls, we're going to coach you, we're going to hold you accountable to that as well. So adding another level of service on top of the things we already have is something we're experimenting with, and it seems to be working out really well. There's a lot of people who don't want to go through it alone and need a little bit of help and accountability, who really want to nail this and get it done by the March time. And this is something that we're really excited about. So that's going to happen. Another thing that we're going to be doing is an online course. We are actually creating a course about online courses because, again, Many people are asking us about that, and we're really excited. But yeah, thank you for the question. Awesome. Let's see here. Can you give some tips about a sales funnel? And I wanted to know how tall you are. How tall you think I am? It's really interesting because I thought Tom Cruise was super tall, and then he's super short. I'm actually 5'9" on a good day. Depends on the weather, but I'm about 5'9". So as far as funnels, I think we need to think about the journey, right? The customer journey. That's really what it's all about. So where are people coming in from? The first initial point of contact is really important to understand because that's where everything starts. From there, we can then take people into the next step. The next step might be subscribing. The next step might be joining your email list. What can we do to encourage more people who find us to do that? Every step of the funnel is a conversion point. And the beauty of a funnel is the fact that you can double your sales numbers at the end of the funnel by either doubling the amount of traffic that you pour in from the top. So, okay, let's spend money to do that. You can do ads, or you can do more SEO or whatever. Or you can double any one of those conversion points, right? If there's 100 people going to, if you get 1% of people clicking to go to your sales page from your emails, how might we get 2%? Twice the amount. Same amount of traffic, but you can double the amount of income as a result of just doubling a conversion point. And there's several conversion points. So you can improve each of them, which is really cool. So just again, think about the customer journey. Where are they coming in from? How does that tie into where you want them to go and connecting the dots for them? Maybe you might need some emails going out after they subscribe that show more case studies, show proof, talk about you a little bit to earn trust, show examples of other people like them who've gotten success from your programs, and then you can go from there. All right, Chris says, what do you suggest about using a platform to post multiple sites? I read about Zapier. What do you suggest? So Zapier is a fun little tool that allows you to connect different tools together to do different things. For example, I can have it so that when a person subscribes to my course on Teachable, I can not only have them also subscribe on ConvertKit and be tagged, but I can also have that be inserted into a spreadsheet. And then I can do some fun things with that. And that can all happen automatically through Zapier. Zapier is not necessarily a tool that's going to help you repurpose your content and post to multiple sites, although it can. I would say you got to be careful about that because a lot of people try to get as much scalability as possible. So they might post one thing one place and then it gets posted out to 50 other places. But then like you're not engaged on those platforms and it's just that becomes a library of that stuff that doesn't do anything for you. I would much rather you focus on the one main content platform, whether it's podcasting, YouTube, maybe a blog. You nail that, you understand the systems, you master it, and then you might repurpose that on one other place. Or maybe you take the audio file and then you take it and turn it into something that then gets posted on social media. Or you take a audio file from a podcast and then you turn it into a 3 to 5 minute video, and that becomes something that is searchable, that is on itself a very good video with some B-roll, some text flying over, so that it actually serves another purpose too. So the one tool that can do it all often will not give you the best chance. I would much rather you focus more of your energy on a fewer amount of things versus like, let's get it all out there everywhere. Just my opinion, though. Great questions, by the way. Zenian Vlada says, question, why do you want to grow your business? Now, this is a great question because the truth is you don't have to grow your business. There's a book by a man named Paul Jarvis called Company of One, and the thesis of this book is essentially like grow purposefully. Don't just grow to grow because everybody else is growing and we seem like we have to grow and we're just tying into our human nature of abundance and like when we have something, we want more of it, right? And this goes back to like our caveman days where, okay, you see an apple tree, you get all the apples because you might not come across an apple tree again in the future, right? And you don't want like the vultures to get it. Do vultures eat apples? I'm not sure, right? But this is how we can, like when you understand that that's like human nature to want to get it all, if you can sort of zoom out a little bit and go, okay, is that really what I want? Then you can make decisions and maybe you don't have to grow. You can just have 10 clients that you work with all the time. And once one client leaves, then you're working to get to fill in that gap and you're perfectly fine and happy. And Paul Jarvis lives on an island in Canada that he's perfectly happy just not growing with. He has a very successful business. He's not overwhelmed. He knows exactly what he needs to run in a consistent manner, and he's perfectly fine. And I think that this is a big question that we all have to ask ourselves. When we grow, how much do we want to grow to, and do we need to continue growing even after that? And I think that's really important. It's a very, very good question, Zen Vlada. For me, why do I want to grow my business? Because the more people that I can serve, the more impact that I can make. And to me, being an Enneagram 3, when I see that I'm helping others, I find joy in that. And that helps me live. That helps me live a fulfilled life. When I can serve others, that's me living a fulfilled life. And so there's so many parts of this world that I want to help and change, but there's one in particular, education, that I know I'm going to need the biggest audience for, because it's not going to happen with just a small audience. It starts there, and I'm building this audience. But every business idea, every step along the way, every breath you take, isn't that a Bryan Adams song? Every move you make, every step you take. And that was a P. Diddy song, right? About Notorious B.I.G. I almost said P.I.G. Excuse me. Rest in peace, by the way. Mary J. Blige, I think, and Puff Daddy, before he was P. Diddy. Anyway, what the heck was I talking about? I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I just totally got myself off of track with that, because that was one of those songs when I was a kid that I actually wrote the lyrics to, because this was before the internet, because I really love that song. Okay, why do I want to grow my business? Education. It's gonna. Okay. So every business idea, every book, every Pokemon YouTube channel is a step toward getting to that point where I can truly be an agent of change and have a lot to say. This is why I was on the advisory board for Pencils of Promise, to get access to philanthropists, to see how that world works, all that kind of stuff. Ooh, okay. Sting, thank you. Steven says, I'm in your podcast Power Up course. I just finished 92 lives on Facebook and used the audio for my podcast. Sting, nice. Karma says, I have an assistant and 2 VAs. I don't want more, honestly. Jeff the Ref in the house. What's up, my friend? Yes, the beard is looking... Actually, it is looking pretty good today. Huh, I wonder why. Sometimes it doesn't... I mean, it has a life of its own. Jeff, good to see you here, my friend. Thank you. And it's been fun to chat with you on Instagram, in fact. I love our conversations. Yeah, Police. Biggie tribute was great, too, right? I'm remembering the video. Gosh, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. We're almost at 30 questions. 2 more. Can we do 30? 30 in 60 minutes. What you said is gold, my friend. Uncle Bill calls it watching out for your division of purpose. Nice. All right. I can answer a couple more questions. I'm glad I'm back to India on YouTube. Thank you, Angelina. Good to see you here. Time to work on my business. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Felipe. You're awesome. Let's see. I saw a question here from Kaushik. Can you give me any tip on how to not feel overwhelmed in the starting stages? Yes. Actually, there's one question that you can ask yourself to reduce the overwhelm, probably by 60 to 80%, and that's this question here. If this were easy, what would it look like? Too often we try to we don't even know we're purposefully overwhelming ourselves. We try to overcomplicate everything. We try to go perfect. We try to do all the things at the start. If this were easy, what would it look like? Okay, I want to start a coaching business. Great. Do you need 100 clients right now? Do you need to set up a website? Do you need to set up business cards? No, you don't need to do any of that stuff. If this were easy, what would it look like? Okay, I would find one person and I would help them. Okay, start there, right? So if this were easy, what would it look like? Just do that, right? That's going to help reduce so much overwhelm. The other thing to know is just to kind of pay attention to all the things you are doing so you can see it, because a lot of times we don't even know all the things we're doing that are overwhelming us. So if you can take Post-it notes, for example, and just start writing down all the things that you're doing, you're going to see the sea of stuff that was once in your brain overwhelming you that you can now organize, and then you can put back in your brain all the things that you want, and you can remove all the things that you don't. Cool. Zeni and Vlada, why should you start and own a business? For me, it's freedom. Freedom of time, freedom to make my own decisions, to grow my business, and ultimately be the decision maker for my own future. The cool thing about entrepreneurship and starting your own business is that it does give you the flexibility of time. it does give you incredible, incredible upside if you want it. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, obviously, but that then allows you to not be tied down to the 9 to 5. It's still important to have structure, and still, I still have, hours of the day where I know I'm going to be working and not working, but it gives me the ability to have more time. It gives me the ability to spend the time in the way that I want. It gives me now financial freedom, and I can go as high as I want. And it's only up to me to decide how high I want to go, or it's only up to me whether or not this actually is going to become a failure or not, because ultimate failure, like we talked about earlier, is in fact giving up. So that's 30 questions, my friends, in 60 minutes. And we are at the end of our show here today. Thank you so much. And my family and I are going to be watching some television to see some things that are happening in the world right now. And we are hopefully all going to have a good day. So I'm appreciative of you. I'm wishing everybody safe, hoping everything goes well. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time and attention today. That means the world to me. The fact that you've been spending hours here every single day with me to hang out so I can answer some questions and we can all encourage each other, just, again, means the world to me. You've definitely been a beacon of light during these crazy times for sure. So hopefully I've been a beacon of light for you as well. And not only somebody who can provide information, but hopefully does it in a way that allows you to have some fun and start the day or end the day if you're on the other side of the world with some smiles and some excitement and some motivation. So chat, you are amazing. I appreciate you for allowing me to do just a rapid fire Q&A today, because just there's a lot of stuff going on. I didn't have time to prepare something, but I will have time to prepare something tonight for tomorrow. And then Friday is our giveaway day. How is it Wednesday already? That is just unreal to me. Anyway, thank you so much, Team Flynn. Your support means the world to me. Let me take this off the screen. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I believe we're going to be starting at the regular time. Let me get my calendar out so I can see when that's going to happen. And yes, we're going to start at our regular time, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Again, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern tomorrow. Before you go, hit that thumbs up button if you can. Thanks again for coming in today. I appreciate you. And as always, Team Flynn for the win.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Yes, we did it. Saban, love, love, love you, dude. Love, love, love you too. And every single one of you, have a great day. Yeah, just, you make me so happy. Thank you so much. I look forward to this all the time. So 365, here we come. 312 tomorrow. I'll see you 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Peace out, y'all.
Bruh.